Hang on, you guys. I have to remember to get my damn clicker from Jess. I forgot it. Oh, lady almost got beat up. It scared me. All right. So, all right, you guys. My child is gone to her Nana's. So, I am just deep out of conversation with a customer of mine, and she basically called to tell me that her horse arrived and that she owed me an apology. And I thought, it's a weird way to start a conversation and say, Tara, I owe you an apology. And I said, okay. I have been out of the loop the last couple of days. I have literally been detoxing from social media and outside opinions, and here I get this call, right? And she said, you know, I purchased this horse from you and I took your advice. She said, I didn't buy the horse I wanted. I bought the horse that you recommended. And she said, I had really in the back of my mind just kind of been doubting my purchase. And she said, I will not lie, I went into the hate group and I read some of what they had to say. And she said, I've been really nervous. And she said, but I've watched you. And she said, again, I talked to you. I purchased the horse that you recommended, not the horse that I wanted. And I owe you an apology because I, this entire time, have honestly been doubting. And she said, this horse arrived and they unloaded it and I walked it in the barn, and as I started to brush my horse, she said, I just started crying because I knew the moment the horse stepped off the trailer that that was the horse for me, and that this horse is fantastic. And despite everything that it's been through, multiple sell barns, a horse trader, it went through a sell that Jacob bought it at, came to me. She did everything I told her to. She had the teeth floated. She had the osteopath. This horse is fully quarantined. And she said, this horse is so good. She said, when I unloaded it off the trailer, people at the barn, she boards, by the way, are like all there because it's a weekend. And of course, they're all like, you know, and they've also kind of fed her full of that, like, oh, you shouldn't have bought from a kill pen. You shouldn't have this. You shouldn't have that. So she did what she wanted. She bought from a kill pen. She let me help her pick the horse. It never even made it on my site. She said, I'm ready to buy. Can you find me a horse? I called her. I said, we have one that came in. We just wrote it. I'm fixing to video it, but I think this is the horse for you. Here's the pictures. She bought it. So she said they get it off the trailer. The hauler tells her this horse hauled amazing. It did fantastic, you know, so they have to switch the halters out. She puts her halters on it and she goes to walk it in the barn, and like, she doesn't know if it was intentional. You know how people are. Somebody slammed the barn door, the whole big barn door. And she said that, I mean, she even kind of, and she said the horse just walked right in. And she said, you know, I bought a 16-year-old horse instead of an 8-year-old horse. I bought an unregistered mare, and she was wanting a only registered. And she said, I bought a paint when I swore I wouldn't. I wanted, you know, she wanted color. She wanted palomino or buckskin, or she bought a paint. And she said, this horse has done nothing wrong. And she said, you know, the thing is that so often people online will voice their opinion of what they think. And she said people at her barn have owned horses their whole lives. Their children take lessons, their children compete, and all of the horses they were trying to get this lady to buy are horses that are registered horses that, you know, horses that are registered, horses that are young, horses that, you know, that are perfect for those people's family. And she said the thing that kept echoing in the back of my mind is, we're not shopping. And I told her this when she was like, yes, but what about, you know, at one point she was really interested in that buckskin warm blood. He's a 4. Yep, you guys, there is a star party. Make sure you send stars. We have 3.5 minutes on the clock and we are over halfway there. So you guys are killing this star party. Thank you. She said that the thing that I said to her that echoed in the back of her mind on the phone is, we're not buying a horse for a 16-year-old girl who takes lessons and wants to compete. So we are not buying a horse for an 18-year-old girl going to college that's going to compete. We are buying a horse for a 55-year-old single mom who has worked very, very, very hard, who has 2 children, one in middle school, one in high school, who needs a safe horse that she can go on the weekends and enjoy, because this is her relaxation. This is her reward for her hard work. She's wanted horses her whole life. And so I picked a horse for a 55-year-old single mom that doesn't have a ton of horse experience. And it was the opposite of what everyone told her she needed. But you guys, it happens all the time. I will advertise a wonderful gaited horse or a big, beautiful horse that I appreciate and sense the value in. Thank you guys, we did kill that Star Party. And people will post in the comments like, what's so great about this horse? Or, you know, I'm really big about when a horse is a good boy or a good girl, just being like, this horse is really fantastic. And I have people on social media that will get on there and say, this isn't fantastic. This is an average plug. This is a piece of shit. This is a duder. This is a, you know, whatever. And at the end of the day, you have to remember that just because the girl that boards next to you is 18 and takes lessons and they purchased a $20,000 show horse does not mean that that's what you need. And if you start showing them the horses that you're interested in, they're not going to appreciate the value in them. They're not going to appreciate what that can offer, because it's never going to work for them. And truthfully, their 7-year-old warm blood that they're trying to show in the jumpers is not going to work for you. It's not going to work for you. And you have to stop shopping based on what people tell you is valuable. And you have to shop and focus on what you need, not what you want. We all want a 5-year-old registered gelding that's buckskin, that's 15.2 hands tall, that's one hand broke, and they're $20,000. We all want that. Everybody, even me. If I'm going to go trail ride, hell, I want. But the truth is, at the end of the day, if I was going to go trail ride, we talked about this yesterday. If I was going to load up any horse on my property to go trail ride, it would either probably be Fox, because he is the best, or it would be that paint gelding. I don't think we have named him yet. My other phone is at the house. So me, I have access to $20,000, $30,000, we have Spider, $50,000 now. I mean, we have horses that are worth, and if I was just going to go trail ride, I would go get Fox. Off the top of my head, I would take Fox. I would take Fox because my trail ride is going to be enjoyable. I am going to unload him and tie him to the trailer and saddle him, and he is not going to dig big holes. He is not going to piss me off. He is not going to wear me out. He is not going to make me wish that I had spent my Saturday doing something else. I'm going to saddle him. And he has a ton of personality. He tries to drink your sweet tea. He tries to eat whatever you're eating. He takes cookies. He licks your face. So Fox, to me, is probably the most valuable horse on the property, because I would take Fox on a trail ride before I took Effort, because Effort is still young and Effort is a good boy and I like him, but he's just not the horse I would take on a trail ride. I would take Fox before I took Effort. And so at the end of the day, that right there shows you that the cost of a horse or somebody else's perception of a horse and their value are not the same thing. Because if I were going to go on a trail ride, if my friends called and said, hey, we want to go trail ride and we're going to put horses in the trailer and drive 12 hours and we're going to spend all weekend camping, I want to take a horse that does everything correct. They're going to stand tied up. They're going to not paw my trailer. I'm not going to have to be aggravated with them. They are going to go down the trails and not spook. So the horse I would take is Fox. Because Fox is a good boy, Misty. He is the best. And if it wasn't Fox, it would probably be that paint gelding. We have another gelding on there that's 5 or 6 years old, and he is a Missouri Foxtrotter spotted saddle horse. And I actually had to delete comments under his video because there were women that were like, there were 2 of them. Basically, one of them tagged and she said, oh, I would never own a gated horse. And the other one said, oh, I didn't know he was gated. And she said, yeah, gated horses are worthless. And she said, oh, why? And she said, nobody wants them. They don't have any value. I sell as many gated horses as I do anything else. And I think if I was going to take Elizabeth with me, I would probably either load up that horse, or did you know that I would probably take Cactus? Cactus's only vice is his feet. And, you know, of course, come Tuesday, we'll get his willy figured out. And while we have him laid down, we'll trim his feet. And we're going to start Elizabeth learning how to pick up feet with Cactus to help him. But did you know that you can go on Elizabeth's Snap story, and last night she had a mental breakdown. Emotional, mental, both. Elizabeth had both. Elizabeth felt very responsible for Taquito getting killed. Like, she felt like it was a family member that she let die. And I'm not laughing because it's genuinely not, it's not funny. But I mean, like, Elizabeth was like, one, she apologized to me multiple times. And I finally just told her, Elizabeth, this is one of the first times that you've been around when things died. And this is not, like, this is obviously not something she's really used to, you know? And I told her, you have to understand, if you own livestock, you're going to own dead stock. And we're going to have stuff die. And she said, but I understand, like, when Dr. Hanlon prepares us and tells us, you know, like, this might not make it, or this has something terminal. She was like, but I mean, he was just in there chilling, minding his own business, and I just couldn't get to him fast enough. Like, I guess watching it happen and Elizabeth feeling like she didn't know how to, like, get in the pen and get between him and the horse without getting hurt. And I'm like, Elizabeth, stop apologizing. Stop apologizing. You know? And then all the donkeys got sick, and another one of the donkeys is probably not going to make it. Its ears are real droopy, and we've been pumping them full of everything, trying to exceed Genocin, Banamine, trying to keep their fevers down. And 2 of the donkeys are doing really bad. So now people will say, like, well, how come? You have to understand that livestock can't handle 75 degrees today and 20 degrees tonight. It would be like being in Miami, Florida in your bathing suit, and then all of a sudden 4 hours later standing in Miami, Florida in a foot of snow. Like, you just can't, you cannot prepare livestock for that. There's no amount, you can't put them in the barn. There's really not anything that you can do to prepare livestock for those swings. Our neighbor lost 2 older cows and a calf in this weather change, and his cows are healthy. They're turned out on his property. And I saw him at the convenience store, and he said, hey, you know, by the way, we're going to be out today. I've got a berry, you know. And I said, yeah, I saw that you lost one. He said, actually, I've got another one in the tree line I lost. And I said, I hate that. And he said, yeah, she was my wife's favorite. She's a little older. She was 12. But for a cow, that's kind of old. Not ancient, but kind of old. But he lost a 6-month-old calf that just was healthy as can be. And all of that death, you know, he's got 50 head of cows, and he lost 2 cows and a calf just from the weather change. So the donkeys are just a weather change thing. We have lots and lots of horses that also are, you know, dealing with weather change and getting snot noses and whatever. And we've tried to blanket. And Brooke, she did. And you have to understand that Elizabeth is the person that, like, if you were drowning, she would drown herself to jump in and help you. Like, that's just Elizabeth. I can tell you that about her. And so I look on her Snap story, and she has Cactus because he's the only one that would, like, in the pitch black, she's out there with a halter just trying to catch a horse. Cactus, of all the horses on my property, came to her. And she was able to get on Cactus and go ride him. And she rode him for like an hour, and just walking, you know, I mean, he's blanketed. So, I mean, he was fine. She took his blanket off. She went and rode him, put his blanket back on him. But of all the horses on my property, you guys have to understand that Cactus was sold to us with the knowledge that he had basically lost his mind. And I don't think that he did. I think that he's had that winky problem going on because he's fantastic. So Cactus is one of the very first horses I would choose for even a beginner. Yeah. Oh, hang on. I'm going to read some of the Elizabeth. It takes some getting used to. Bless. It does take getting used to. Also, when donkeys let you know they're sick, it's hard for them. So that is also true, Lindsay. By the time that we noticed the donkeys were sick, obviously, it's because they had some snot showing. And it was something that was like, new. It was like brand, you know, like we were like, oh. So we contacted the person who bought all the donkeys and told them, hey, this morning at feed, there are 5 donkeys with snot nose. There are several more with coughs. We had to pin all the donkeys. And it's hard because you also have to remember that in pinning them and doctoring them, you're getting them hot in the cold, which is also not great for them. So it's like a double-edged sword because you need to get the medication in them. You need to get them doctored. But you also have to remember, now we're getting sick donkeys hot in the freezing cold trying to doctor them. So the ones that were the sickest went in the barn. The others, you know, they just went in stalls. The others went back out, and the others are doing great. So there were 5 that were super snotty. 3 of them have bounced right back, and 2 of them I'm really worried about. One of them I don't think is going to make it, almost certain, and the other one we're hoping. So, but there were 16 donkeys. It's not like there's 1 or 2. There's a whole group of them. And the mules that were out there with them also had snot noses, but the mules for some reason are a little hardier. Horses are a little bit hardier. I have found with donkeys that they're not as hardy as horses are. They get sick and get down a lot easier than horses. So, but yes, I did. Hi, Jess. How are you? Jess a lot of people have been asking, and Jess, as you guys know, she hurt her back, and she just has been going to the chiropractor, and just, it's hard. It's hard when it's freezing cold and you hurt to just, so Jess has kind of done her job and gone home so that she can heal. And then Jacob and I think Jacob talked to her last night and told her take the week and like stay home and get all your stuff done, and we have got it, because Jess has been working since September faithfully with no break. Like everybody knows, Daryl was there, and obviously she, you know, hurt her wrist and had some time and she's come back, but Jess has been going freaking strong since September. And you know, yeah, she went for Thanksgiving or I don't know. My house is spotless in my barn feed room, and now I'm bored. Yeah, I can see that, Jess. But the thing is that she just has her horses and stuff at her house. And I'm telling y'all, the only breaks that she's had, though, were for family vacations. And sometimes you guys can relate when I say this, and no ill will towards family, but like, sometimes family vacation is not necessarily a vacation. Like, we have to go and get dressed up and like partake in being part of our family, you know, and it's easier to not sometimes. Like for me, I'm telling you, Tinley got up this morning at 7 and I helped her pack her little bag, and she was like, bye Mom, I'm going to Nana's. And Jacob took her with him to the cell, and Nana met him at the cell and picked Tinley up, and she had on her little snowsuit, and out the door she went. She didn't even kiss me goodbye. I was like, do I get a kiss goodbye? And she's like, I'm saving my kisses for Nana, Mom. And I'm like, But I went back to bed and I slept till like, when I tell you that I like woke up at like 1:30 something and was like, fucking happened? Like, it was like 1:30 and I was like drooling, and I'm like in the bed, and it's like the middle of the day. I am telling you that sometimes that's what people need. They don't need a vacation to go see family in California. They need to lay in their bed until 1 o'clock with nothing to do, to remember that we're not really wired for this. Like, I'm not wired for this, but it was nice. Now, could I do it again tomorrow? No. But today I was like, so I'm telling y'all that I absolutely, yes, like sometimes when I get home from family vacation, I need a vacation from vacation. So Jess's only breaks have been when they went back to California, and going that far, traveling, you're exhausted when you get there, then you have to entertain all the people around you. So I also have to be super open-minded. Like, I am the one person that, as long as you're good to my horses, you'll never hear me complain about anything else. And Jess is fantastic to my horses. So Jess to me is is golden. So but I mean, if you go back through the comments on all of the videos, people are like, where's Jess? Where's Jess? Where's Jess? And I'm like, Jess is one person that I'm just telling y'all, she is fantastic to the horses, but she needed a break, and by God, let her have it, because she has been, you have to understand this, we're going into February, and she started in September. So September, October, November, December, January, 5 months solid of working pretty much 7 days. So it's, I mean, it's nice for her to get to have a break, you know? Andrew Curtis, I bet my mom feels the same. I interrupted her TV show too much recently. That's funny. Yes, Mickey, we did. We actually did Bounce Back, and we have dextrose both in paste, and we have it for IV, and donkeys are just tough. When we caught them, we did a lot. We did Genocin, Exceed, Fluids, and Banamine. Oh, and of course paste. We did the hydrate paste, 10 cc's of hydrate paste with 60 cc's of Bounce Back. Has Hercules made it to Oklahoma yet? Sometimes you just need to recharge, that's for sure. For absolute sure. And Hercules has not made it to Oklahoma yet. So Hercules was supposed to leave, and the hauler actually did not make an appointment, showed up at my property with no appointment, and then I was not there, and unfortunately talked to Elizabeth kind of stupid, and that was the wrong person to talk to stupid, I can assure you. So yes. Yes, so that is what Mickey, that is what Bounce Back is dextrose. So literally my favorite page. Oh, well, we're glad to have you here. Yeah, Jess will tell you that hauler, and then he parked in the road, and it was kind of a big deal. So I just told the lady that owns Hercules that I was just going to board him, because she had paid her board through then, and I told her I will board him for the next week or two for free while we try to find you a different hauler, because I'm not going to allow somebody to come on my property and disrespect Elizabeth, when Elizabeth was just basically telling him, like, I don't have an appointment for you. And he said, like, it's not my responsibility to make an appointment. You need to talk to the owner of the horse about this. And anyway, it was, and then the owner was like, she's so nice. She was like, no, I sent him everything. I sent him that he had to make the appointment. And then so I sent him the text message, and he said, I'm not going to click on some random link to some website that I don't give a fuck about to read some guide. He was like, fuck that. He was like, she needed to make the appointment, and I'm like, oh, this hauler is just purposely trying to just be aggressive. So. Jess, she's a delightful mess. Her only flaw is she rides an Arab. Who has an Arab? Oh, Jess did. Jess had an Arab. She told me that, like, her Playday horse, and she was like, I should have never sold it. She did tell me that, right, Jess? Isn't that the one that was like your Playday horse? And then I think what was it? You sold it, and it's still like going strong in California, and she is like, oh, I shouldn't have sold it. Well, Skipper is fantastic. You're gonna love that horse. We love her. We love her. All right, you guys, I'm going to my nail lady to do Valentine's nails. I've not had my nails done in a hot minute. I got to give the haters something to hate about. You know, they always hate about my long nails. Like, you mean you use dexamethasone or dextrose? Because we did Genocin, gentamicin, and same thing, and Exceed, and then we did dextrose paste. So I don't mind. I don't mind Arabs if they're good ones, but Arabians are like Appaloosas. They're either the best horse you'll ever own or the worst horse you'll ever own. And there's not really a lot of common ground there. We had 2 Arabians back in 2000 and maybe like 16 or maybe 16 that came from Patrick Swayze after, I think he passed away. Anyway, we ended up with 2 Arabians that were registered to him, and they were the best Arabians in the entire world. They were both sorrel, and we named them Patrick and Swayze. And they actually sold, one went to Maine and one went to Washington. So they went to opposite sides of the US. I'll never forget them. They were literally the most amazing Arabians, and they looked like big, beautiful quarter horses with little Arabian heads. They were stunning, and they were the most fantastic horses. They were genuinely fantastic. God bless this traffic. Do y'all ever feel that way? Like, Jesus. All right, I'm just fixing to pull out and just be aggressive. Be aggressive. Be aggressive. All right, you guys, I am headed to Rockstar Nails to give Ari my money because she is amazing. Yeah, I've gotta go get my long nails done so the haters have something to hate about. You know, the comments about stuff like that make me laugh so hard. I read a comment on there that somebody like screenshotted, and they were like, oh, she begs for vet money so she can get Botox, and she, you know, has those long nails. And somebody was like, oh, she must have seen our nail comments because she hasn't had her nails done lately. And I'm like, you know that you are obsessed with somebody and you are their biggest fan of me. Like, you are a fan when you realize that my nails have not been done. Like, when you know that I get Botox. Like, if you know these things about me, you need to know, babe, you are not a hater. You are a fan that we just no longer allow inside the club. So you just have to fangirl from outside the club, because there is nothing normal about knowing if my, like, no, like, if you know if my nails are done, you are paying way too much attention. You are like, you are paying way too much attention. Like, no. But so the way that things work, and this was something I also was going to discuss that I feel like needs to be said. This is something that while I'm driving over there, when I started doing this, I told my husband that us having the horses at my property were not going to cost him money. You know, like, this was back when I trained racehorses. Like, I rented that little property in Sallisaw, and I was homing the horses from there. And then when we moved to Louisiana, I rented a little place at first. And then, obviously I grew too big for that. But I'm going to tell you that when we sell horses, Jacob gets the profit from that. And Jacob gets 100% of the profit from all of the horses that are sold. Then I make the board, I make the stars, I make the extra money. And that's what I have to spend on vet bills, really good quality feed, my staff. So all of, like, the Facebook monetization, there was also a rumor that we're no longer Facebook monetized. Well, you know, that's not true, because you're still in the Facebook group. You're still seeing commercials. You're still being able to send stars. So these people say things, and it's whatever suits their vendetta. But at the end of the day, there are things that Jacob pays for me, obviously, as his spouse. And I can have those things because we sell horses. My Botox, let me just tell you, my Botox, it's paid for by Jacob. You know, like, my nails are paid for by Daddy. Like, paid for by Daddy. Like, my Jeep is paid for by Daddy. I still have my red Mercedes because I didn't want to trade it in. I love that car. Daddy paid for that. And so I can tell you guys that it is very crazy to me how many people on social media are concerned about the finances. Somebody said on there one time, oh, well, somebody should let Jacob know that she hides money from him. He knows. He knows. Not only does he know, he doesn't care. He doesn't care. And then half the time he'll be like, where's your cash wad, Tara? Like, I'm going in to get something, and I'll be like, in my fanny pack, or my console, you know? And I'm just telling you that, like, nothing gets by that man. Nothing. And Jacob has a watermelon, you know, they farm watermelons, and we hide horses, not money. That is facts. We hide horses all the time, and then Jacob will, like, once every 2 months want to do a drive around the property, and I'm like, fuck. Because he'll go pin to pin and be like, now what in this pin is sold? And then I'll be like, and he'll be like, I don't remember getting paid for that. And then I'll have to fess up that that's not, like, recently Nukes, he was like, what are we going to do there? And I was like, he sold. And he was like, to who? And I was like, I just bought a cart and harness. And he said, what? And I said, I bought a cart and harness. And he said, did you sneeze? I bought a cart and harness. And then I told him, yes, and I need to keep Nukes because I don't know what I'm doing, and I need to learn on something that's not going to run off with us and kill us. And he was like, Jesus Christ, where is it? So then we walk him around the barn to show him the cart, and he realizes there's three carts, not one. He was like, what the fuck is this? And I was like, we thought we wanted to drive. And he was like, you have a Jeep, Tara. That's the truth. You can ask Jess. She's on here. And he was like, 3. And I was like, well, the big one is draft size and it's for Thor. And he was like, God damn it, he's still here. And I'm like, yeah, he is. Yeah. Look at Jess. Jess and Elizabeth were like, we're gonna race them, and I'm like, you are not racing chariots around my property and dying. We're not doing that. So then Jacob realized that I had bought a draft cart for Thor and a horse-sized cart, like a horse average cart for Nukes. And then he was like, what's that one? And I was like, it's a pony cart. And he was like, what's it for? And I was like, Daisy, so Tinley can. And he was like, Jesus. And I'm like, like, Elizabeth tells me all the time, she's like, the moment that you get in trouble, you make this ugly ass face. And I'm like, like, I told her, it's my, come on, brain, think of things. Come on, brain, say smart things. Come on, brain, shut the fuck up, mouth. Come on, brain, say smart things. That's this. I'm like, it is too. Come on, brain, think of things. Come on, brain, say smart things. Like, it's just. So, people will be like hating on me, like just talking so much mad shit. And the truth is, we're just like at my house, just like buying carts and harnesses and hoarding horses and just trying not to get caught by Jacob for all the things that we do that he probably wouldn't approve of. I snapped him earlier, and so Jacob has it on my phone to where I can always tell, like, my snap is, it says like hide location from everybody except for the baby daddy. And I didn't do that, he did it. And like, he'll be somewhere and he'll like snap me instead of text me, and I always tease him, and I'm like, oh, are you trying to figure out where I am? You know, like, laugh out loud. And he finally fessed up, and he was like, well, he was like, and it's not like a cheating thing. It's more of like a, is she at TJ Maxx again type thing. And I said, like, what is it like to be with such a predictable bitch? Like, I am either getting a massage at Massage Envy, I am at the farm, or I'm at Starbucks or a restaurant. Like, I finally, and he was like, or TJ Maxx ... or or getting your nails done ... And I said, well, how funny is it that I am so predictable that I am at one of 6 places, like farm, restaurant, a Starbucks, a TJ Maxx. And so, like, we were just giving each other a ton of hell about how, like, my location is turned on to where he can on Snap, so he can always see where I am. And, like, truthfully, every once in a while, like, he'll snap me and I won't snap back, and then he'll text me and be like, where are you? And I'll be like, that's none of your business. And he'll be like, what are you doing? And so I'll be like, if I wanted you to know, I would snap you back. Like, and then he will literally text me back and be like, are you shopping? And I am like, yes. Like, I am. And so it's like so funny. And then I literally watched, because my entire staff know this. Like, everybody knows that, like, Jacob will snap me when I'm like missing to see like what it is that I'm doing, because he tells me all the time, he is like, Tinley has enough clothes. And like, so if I go to TJ Maxx, like the buggy is like pajamas, like a stack of like soft PJs for Tinley, or dog beds. And he finally told me the other day, he was like, Bear has a bed in every room. Stop buying dog beds. They're like the big ones. So anyway, I spend my money on frivolous, stupid shit, but it was really weird to me to like see that dissected amongst people that like do not know me, do not know my relationship, and then that manipulated into something really like that I hide money from daddy, and that first of all, fuck yes, I constantly hole up money from daddy. Because if I were to text him and be like, I'm buying Bear another dog bed, can you please? He would tell me no. He would tell me no. He'd be like, Bear has enough dog beds. Not happening. Can I buy a cart and harness? The answer would be no. So I hole up money. But the thing is truthfully, he knows it. Like, he's not stupid. And I can't be the only one married to a man that knows that your bitch ass is holding up money and that you go buy frivolous shit that he would not approve of. And then Jacob, most of the time, he will like be like, where's your wad of cash? And I'll be like, and then he'll count it and he'll be like, I am just going to put this in my back pocket and deposit it in the bank because, and I'll be like, well, whatever, I'll make my credit card payment with it. Like, so it's just funny to me to see. And the truth is, at the end of the day, I know that conversation from a previous employee had to have been had with that group for them to even know that I do that. And at the end of the day, it's like weird to me. Like, I am a stranger to these people. Like, I'm a stranger to y'all, and y'all are like discussing me wadding up cash that daddy doesn't know about. Like, y'all, like, what do y'all think I'm doing with it? Like, I don't have a heroin addiction. Like, I don't have, like, I have a horse addiction, you dumb bitches. Like, of course I'm fucking holding up money. Do you think daddy's gonna go buy me 3 carts and harnesses? Hell no. He's wanting to know why those horses are still at our house. And I'm having to be like, they're sold to, and he's like, to who? And I'm like, Tinley and mommy. I mean, like, and I will say that it's taken me this long to actually, like, for my brain to be like, what I do is normal. Hiding money from your husband so that you can buy things for your horses that he doesn't approve of, that's normal behavior. What's not normal are complete strangers discussing your spending habits in a group that is none of my business. Like, what they say in there is none of my business. But I will tell you, we have carts, and I ordered harness. So Gary has some harness at his house that he's going to go through and see, like, if it's salvageable, like, over time that Jess is right. We can't hide horses at her house. She's not wrong. Charlie and I used to do it all the time. Charlie and I would hide horses constantly. We hid Sparky for years, for like a year and a half, and we loved him. But what I do not like is that they spew the narrative of, hey, you know, don't donate to vet bills because she's spending that on Botox. Don't donate to vet bills because she's getting her nails done. And I'm like, actually, Botox and my nails are things that if I ask Jacob for the money, he gives it to me immediately. One, Jacob likes my nails done, and I'm going to get them done now because he literally said, hey, why don't you go get your nails done? I want you to scratch my back. Anybody else have that husband? Anybody else? All the time. Jacob will lay on the couch and he wants me to scratch the back of his head like this. And when I don't have nails, he's like, why are your nails not done? And I'm like, I just haven't had time to go do them. So, at the end of the day, my husband's priorities and my priorities are completely different. I feel like his priorities are fucked up. And he feels like my priorities are equally fucked up. Just so y'all know. My priorities are like trying to help horses. And I'm like, okay, so this was my justification. I was like, if we have a cart and harness, anytime anything comes in here that is supposed to be broke to drive, we can like drive it on video and help people like actually, you know, like actually no. So the pecker problem is like a whole big deal. Not only do we have to lay him down and get all of that off, we have to send that off and biopsy it so that we can tell what kind of fungus that is, so we can order the appropriate cream. And then he's going to have to be in the barn for like a couple of weeks and sedated so that he'll put his penis out, so that we can actually coat it in fungal cream, because that is a fungus that's on his penis. When we said that we think he may have had a trip to the strip club to see Lucy, we were not kidding. No, we're not hiding Cookie. Cookie is fantastic, and we love that horse, but I mean, we have peyote for Tinley, who's equally as good, so I'm not keeping Cookie for Tinley. She has peyote. And the only reason I haven't been catching peyote is because he's at the end of his EPM treatment, and I want to make sure that, like, he's not stressed out and he's looking so much better. But my justification in my brain is if I have carts and harnesses, anytime stuff comes in that's supposed to be broke to drive, I can actually, like, drive it and prove that it's, like... And Jacob is like... You know, he is like, we are a numbers game. Just price them fairly and get rid of them. Do not, you know, don't. He was like, my God, Terry. He's like, yeah. And then by the time you drive it a couple times, he was like, you'll be, you know. And I'm like, shut up, Jacob. You know, I'll be keeping it. You know, that's what he's thinking. Because if I have a cart and harness, I'll always have to have stuff. I'll be like, I have a cart and harness, Jacob, and I don't have anything to pull, so I need to keep this. So anyway, he's not wrong also, but. Everything's for sale. I'll sell them. And he's like, yeah, but then you just price them high enough that they're here forever. And I'm like, not really, because the truth is the stuff that I price the highest is always the first to sell, because it's stuff that I really value, because I love it and I really, really, really love it. And truthfully, so does everyone else. Like like Quincy, I priced him, did not want to get rid of him. We priced 7 kind of high because we fucking loved him. And both of them sold. And I was like, son of a bitch. But you know what? They're fantastic. They're wonderful horses. Jess will tell you, like, she would, if they call and don't like 7, Jess will be like on her way to Florida to get him back because we love him. So, I don't know. But I will tell you that, like, to me, Jacob will give me money to go get Botox because he knows it helps my migraines, and he cannot stand it when I have migraines because I'm a bitch. And he will give me money to go get my nails done because he wants the back of his head scratched. But if I were to be like, hey, Jacob, I'm going to get on there and order a harness, he would be like, no, you're not. We don't need that. Like, that's bullshit. That's frivolous. So our priorities are just completely different. Truthfully. And, I mean, not that Jacob gives a shit. And that somehow this will be turned into, like, Jacob's a bad person. And, like, he's... Because, I mean, as far as, like, other things go, I will tell you right now that... I recently kind of told Jacob that ever since I had COVID, I kind of had like autoimmune type issues, and I was breaking out in rashes, and they tested me for like Hashimoto's and all kinds of stuff. But like, I have not really got back on Thrive like I should. Like on the days that I take it, I feel so good. And so this week, Jacob was like, okay, here's what I want to do. You and I are going to sit down. We're going to lay all of our Thrive stuff out. And he was like, we're both going to get back on Thrive so that we get healthier, because I'm the one that complained about like gaining a little bit of weight. And he was like, get on there and order whatever it is that we need to order so that we have everything for like 90 days, so that we can just like the next 90 days we'll just dedicate not to like losing a bunch of weight for like vanity reasons, but just to feel better, because he thinks that basically we haven't really felt that good since we both had COVID, and our eating habits have also just not been the best. Like we've just, you know, not had the best eating habits. So long story short, so Jacob's priorities are stuff like that. Like he was like, here, take this money and go on, you know, Lavelle and order everything that we need for like 3 months so that we can, he was like, order us both a detox. Like we're going to really do this. And he was like, I'm going to do it with you. He was like, because every time you start to do it, he's like, I don't. And he was like, you'll do really good for about 4 or 5 days. And the thing is like, I've learned about me. If I can stick with it for 2 weeks, it becomes routine. And then I feel better, I do better, it's better. But if I don't, it's hard for me to make a habit. Like, I am one of those people that does not build habits easy. My ADHD just gets the best of me, and I have a toddler. So that's what he said the other day. So I ordered it all. It's at the house. It's ready to open. We're going to start in the morning, because also Tinley's not here. So in the morning when I wake up, sometimes in the morning when I wake up, she's also waking up and she needs pancakes and she needs, you know, juice. And the truth is, I get to like catering to her and forget to even stop and take my Thrive. And I'll be halfway to the barn and realize that, and I had put a handful of capsules in my console. Well, I've taken all of them, and then I forgot to refill my damn console, because I'll be halfway there and be like, well, I'll just pull in and get a water. Well, no, I won't, because I'm out of capsules in my console. So, but anyway, Daddy is been on me about getting my nails did, so I am rolling up in here to Rockstar Nails so that Ari can do my back scratchers. And you know what else bothers me? My nail girl is fucking fantastic. She is amazing. Truthfully, she's amazing. And so what if I want to go get my nails done and spend money on that? Like, do they not realize that she deserves my money? She deserves to be paid. She deserves profit. Like, that she is a fantastic human being. That's the thing that I think they forget a lot of times, is that it is not about like, it's, I don't know, like, maybe that's just the girl's girl in me, you know what I mean? But I am going to get some Fierce Fire Valentine's nails. So see y'all shortly. Bye, you guys. We have a giveaway tonight. I don't know if you guys remember that, but we have a giveaway at 8:30 Central Standard Time tonight, and I will be at the barn at 8:30 Central Standard Time. So I will catch y'all then. Bye, you guys.